man goes up in the 10-story buildings and says, I'm going to break the law of gravity. He jumps out. He doesn't break the law of gravity. He breaks his neck. So we do not break God's laws. They break us. And that is called the wrath of God. The anger. Psalm 78:49 is a very good text. Elder Morris D. Lewis helped me understand that. He was in the conference. The conference president, by the way, became a believer, and this carried the message that God doesn't destroy. So Elder Lewis was in there doing that, and I listened to him at a workers' meeting, and 50%, there's about 100 pastors there, 50 of them believed and the 50 did, and they were arguing. But I believed, and that really convinced me. It's 1969. But it wasn't until 76 that Jesus spoke to me when I was memorizing this. And I was saying, repeating over and over again, destroy them, O God, let them fall by their own counsels. Okay, so what happened was that as I kept repeating this, Jesus, and I understood Romans 1:18-28, what the wrath of God really was. Jesus spoke to me, and he says, Michael, I want to talk to you. Yes, yes, Jesus. I knew his voice. I'd heard him before. And so he says to me, Michael, if you would stop telling your sob story and start telling my sob story, you'd be a lot better off. Well, I knew what he meant, and I was ashamed. What is my sob story? Well, there I left the conference. I was independent. They didn't call them independents at that time. They called them offshoots. There I was in the radio program, and some pastors listened to me, and they liked my program. They'd invite me to preach in their church from time to time. But the majority of them did not, and the devil didn't want the people to wake up. So I had a hard time, and I would complain. I would tell people all the problems I had. I'm getting persecuted. I'm not being accepted. I'm working so hard for Jesus, like Elijah was done. Oh, Lord, I've done so much for you, and here I am. They're trying to kill me. Jezebel put out a death decree on me, and that's another story. But anyway, I was doing that. Jesus said, Mike, if you would stop telling your sob story and start telling my sob story, you'd be a lot better off.
I didn't know he had a sob story.
Yeah, me.
What could he be talking about?
I asked.
Jesus has a sob story? What is that?
Okay, well, that's what I asked him. I said, Jesus, what is your sob story? And I was so stupid. He said, Michael, they nailed me to a cross. And I said, oh, Lord, I know that's so terrible. If I had been there, I tried to help you. What could I have done? But he said, Michael, that's not the worst thing they have done to me. I thought, oh, wow. What could be worse than being nailed to the cross? He said, Michael, they say that I hurt and kill people. From the beginning, I've hurt and killed people. But, Michael, I have never hurt and killed anybody. Boom. Just like a bomb going off in my brain.
That's a shocking revelation.
Oh, wow. Shocking revelation, yes. And you know what, Dale? I started crying. I started weeping. Because when he said that, I immediately realized I was blaspheming his name. I was telling a lie about our Heavenly Father and about His Son, saying that God brought the flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, and all the deaths and all the destruction in the Old Testament. Jesus didn't do that. He said, I never heard it kill anybody. And I cried for about 20 minutes. And I said, Lord, I'm so sorry. Okay, I will study and I will learn. And that's what he said. You study and learn, and then you can explain this. And I never told anybody about that. It was so awesome, a shocking of an experience. It just was in my mind. The Lord didn't want me to talk about it at that time. And if you go through the book of Acts, I don't see anywhere where Paul talked about that experience until the last part of the book of Acts. He might have, but it doesn't record it. So, it was 76, and then it went into the fall, but he set me up to preach in two Adventist churches in McMinnville and some others, but 2 times in the McMinnville church, I preached about God's wrath. The first time. It was a shocking revelation. The first time they accepted it, the second time they were angry. Okay, so then Jesus said, Michael, I want you to write out what I have explained to you. I said, Lord, I have never written. I just made articles up in the newspaper. I've never written even a little booklet or a book. I don't know how to do this. I will help you. I will help you to write this. Okay. But I just put it all. I have too much to do. I don't have time. I had a lot of excuses like Moses. So finally I got sick with a cold and went into January and February and and I was in bed. I was, got this bad cold. And finally I got feeling better. I was sitting up and the Lord said, okay, Michael, you got time now. You're recovering. Write this out. So I started writing out 66 pages of notes I wrote out. And later I had an upper room in a building and I started explaining this and from my notes, and I would look at my notes and they would fall on the floor, and then I was typing. I had a IBM. They didn't have computers. 1977. This is May 1977. So I am typing this out. First manuscript turned out to be 59 pages. Okay. So got this done. Went to the printer. Had 500. Sent them out, and I said, "Okay, my job is done. Don't bug me anymore." I've explained it. I even wrote a booklet. I've been talking about this, even on the radio a little bit. And then people started writing to me. Oh, Mike, that's nice. I'm glad to hear this. I always thought that this was the truth, but I didn't know how to explain it. Oh, Mike, you have to write more about this. Oh, no, I don't want to write anymore. My job's done. And, but then I wrote another manuscript. I wrote 3 manuscripts, put them into a form like this one, only it was smaller. Published 1982, 50,000 copies. It was a miracle I had the money. But the Lord had a plan. And this character message we're talking about is the most important message to go to the world, Dell. This is what is near to the heart of God. But I will tell you something. In 1976-77, I was on the radio and I started talking about God doesn't kill. A lot of people thought I'd gone off the edge and lost it. But the union president, his name was Max Torkelson, he passed away. His son was the president, next president of the union for a time. Okay. So what happened was, there was a conference president up in Upper Columbia, and I was invited to go up there and preach. And he got angry. He said, "Mike, you can't preach in our churches. You're not with the conference." And I said, "Well, they asked me," and one of the elders said, "Conference president, you go back to your office and you just write your letters and do your job. I'm the elder of the church. If I want to invite Mike Clute up here to talk about this, it's okay, because I'm the elder of the church. You can't tell me what to do." And so I forget his name. He's a very good man. He called the union president and said, "We have a little problem here. Mike Clute has been invited to give talks in the church, but we don't have, I haven't authorized him." And Elder Torkelson said, "Oh yeah, I know Mike Clute. I listened to him on the radio. Oh, let's have him come in." So the Lord had told me, if you will preach my character and tell them about I haven't hurt and killed anybody, I will open every door for you. Oh, that would be nice. Thank you very much. So what happened was that he called all these presidents of the whole North Pacific Union, Upper Columbia, Washington, Alaska, Montana, Oregon, all of the 5 big conferences. He called them together there in the big conference out there, 102nd and Burnside is where the office was. They moved it over to Vancouver since then. And Elder Torkelson has all these guys come, and he says, "Mike, come in here and explain it to them, what your ministry is about." Here I am going before the conference presidents. And he said, "You have a half an hour." And the president of Upper Columbia, he said, "I'm the one that arranged this, and I think we should give Mike a little more time. He should have an hour to explain this." I thought, wow, this is really something.
You became famous.
I was nervous, Dale. I was nervous like I'm before the Sanhedrin. But I explained it. And then I said, do you have any questions? And so what happened was Elder Torkelson listened. He was in favor. He listened to my talk show, which